Okay, welcome everybody. Can everybody hear me all right? That doesn't sound very loud, does it? Can you hear me okay in the room? Yep, and can you hear me okay online? Feel free to write into the chat. Yes, okay, I see a thumbs up. Excellent. All right, welcome everybody to our medical science welcome session. That's too many welcomes in one sentence. I'm the course coordinator, Helen Harrison. So I'm kind of probably a key contact for you all throughout the year. And we've got some other key people here who will introduce to you as we move through. But welcome to the degree, to one of these many degrees that you might have enrolled into, and welcome to the university as well. So congratulations on making it this far, and we hope that you have a really great time during the degree, really get what you want out of it, and are successful in whatever way that you measure success as you move through. I just need to navigate through. So first, before we get started, I will just acknowledge that we're meeting today on the Kaurna lands and pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. As you can see on this slide, Flinders actually has a really large footprint. So we're not just at Bedford Park and the Medical Centre in Sturt and Tonsley. We also now obviously are in the city, but also we actually move up through the Northern Corridor and head all the way up to Northern Territory as well. So we do have campuses in a number of regional areas throughout South Australia, and then up into Northern Territory too. So I do acknowledge that we actually cover the lands of many traditional owners. All right, so here's what's going to happen today during this session. It is long. We'll try not to bore you too much with a lot of the administrative sort of things, but I'm going to talk a little bit about the course, about medical science, our medical science degree, medical science honours, medical science accelerated, and then our student administration services team are going to chat with you just to introduce themselves so you can see who they are. They're going to be key contacts for you if you've got questions about your enrolment and things like that. Then Associate Professor Vula Gaganis will come up and speak about laboratory medicine. She's your laboratory medicine advisor. I should point out, this is Vula here. That's me, obviously. And then we've got our Student Success and Wellbeing Advisor, Melissa Suckley, will come and say hello to you and just tell you about her role. Then I'm going to talk a little bit more about student support here at Flinders, but also within the degree, and our peer mentoring program. And then we've got our FUMES, which stands for Flinders University Medical Science Society, President and Vice President Kirsty and Kristen coming up and speaking. And then, I don't actually have it on here, it must have fallen off, but then we actually head down the stairs to the medical centre and have pizza for lunch. So I'll try and make this stuff quite quick and the pizza a lot longer, because most of you probably by then will be starting to get quite hungry. I know I will be. All right, so first off, I need to do a little bit of admin, but I will rush through these quite quickly. But please note that these slides I will make available online for you quite early, like I'll try and do that this afternoon, so that you can refer back to them and see them. And then if you do have any other issues or things aren't working how the slides say they should, then you can obviously contact us with any queries that you might have. I will also say as well, for those of you online, if you've got any questions or anything that you want to ask, feel free to pop those into the chat. And any of you in the room, feel free to just raise your hand and ask questions as well. I know that's a relatively daunting thing to do, but if you do have questions and things just aren't making sense, please do ask. Obviously, there'll be opportunities to ask during the pizza session as well, and I'll absolutely be wandering around and more than happy to receive questions then. So at Flinders, at all kind of educational sites really within South Australia, and hospitals are included in this often as well, you can access Wi-Fi through Eduroam. Your username's your FAN and your password's your Flinders password. If you have any issues with that, you can access this support site. As I said, I'll rush through these quite quickly. There is a new student section of Compass. So when you sign into Flinders, or your kind of student landing page is called Compass, and that new student section will actually talk you through a lot of the things that you need to do as a new student. So how do I enroll in topics? How do I set up my student ID card? All of those sorts of things, which possibly you've already gone through and done, and that's why I'm not going to spend too much time on this. So as I said, you can order your ID card through that. You can do that online and then just pick it up at Flinders Connect, which is up in the hub up the stairs. Enrolling in topics, again, most of you have probably already done that. If you haven't and need some help to do that, then myself, but definitely Kelly over in the purple and Tess in the green, who will introduce themselves shortly, are an excellent place to get advice on how to do that. But essentially you can do that through the student system. Again, I won't go through this in too greater detail, but if you are having trouble with it and you haven't been able to enrol in the topics that you want, let us know. Familiar with your learning environment. So Flinders Learning Online, we call that Flow. That essentially is where all of your learning materials will be put by your topic coordinators. So you all should have got access to your topic sites on Flow yesterday. So you possibly have looked at those, you possibly haven't yet. Essentially, when again you log into your student system or you log into Okta, through Flinders, and then you can go to Flow, and that, as I said, it's where all of your lectures, so most of our topics will have pre-recorded lectures, they'll be made available on there, lecture slides, announcements from the topic coordinators about what's happening, just a lot of your learning resources and materials will be put on that learning management system. You'll notice some academics will be calling it Canvas because we've just recently transferred across to this new learning management system called Canvas. We used to have another one, so most of us will interchange between Flow and Canvas because we used to call the other one Flow and the new one Canvas, but now Flow has moved across to Canvas. So bear with us while we adjust our terminology to accommodate that change. As I said, you should be able to see all of those topics that you're enrolled into now, so you can go online and have a look at what people have already put and made available for you. Transport. So parking around here can be a little bit problematic, as some of our older students in the room might let you know. Car Park 1 is one of the best car parks to park if you're going to the medical centre or if you're coming to this building here, which is our Health Sciences Lecture Theatre Complex. So Car Park 1 is the big one out there. That's very hard to get a park after about 9 o'clock. So if you want to park there, I recommend getting in early. However, there are loads of car parks around the campus, and then you can either just walk down or you can catch a loop bus, so a free loop bus service, to be able to move down to the different places that you need as well. So keep that in mind. You need a parking permit, and you can either do like a daily permit through Cello Park, I'm assuming they've still got Cello Park, or you can get a V permit, which will allow you to park whenever you need to. Often it's a good idea to think about how many days you'll actually be in at uni and which one's more cost effective for you. Because if you're not actually needing to come in for kind of, more than 3 days a week, then sometimes it's actually cheaper just to pay on the daily rates rather than actually getting the full permit. Scholarships. So there are loads of scholarships that Flinders offers, and they're not necessarily based on academic merit. There are a number of different criteria which students can apply for scholarships, particularly if you're encountering financial hardship. There are a number of scholarships that will accommodate that as well. So check out the scholarship site, and you can essentially just look at which ones are open, look at which ones are opening soon, pick which study level is suitable for you, whether you're a commencing student. So all of you would be commencing students as you're starting off, but then once you've been in the degree for a year, you become a continuing student. So that'll allow you to search for any relevant scholarships that might apply for you. And don't think, oh, I won't get one, so I'm not going to apply. I really encourage you to go online, apply for anything you possibly can, and maybe you get some extra money to help you out. Safety. So obviously we want you to be safe on campus. If you do witness any unacceptable behaviour or harassment, you can make a confidential report about that. And essentially you can do that through this Safety on Campus tab at flinders.edu.au. There's also an email address, and this is the number for security as well. So you can phone this number and get through and be able to make those complaints. You can just report something. It doesn't actually have to go through to a complaint process. So again, whatever you're comfortable with, but just note that that service is available. And even if you report something, steps will be taken to try and help make sure that you're kept safe throughout that process. Key dates of the semester. So this is obviously O week, so we call this week 0. There's loads of different activities happening across the university for O week, so I really recommend that you look at the planner, do a tour of the campus, do a library tour if you can as well. There's some study skills sessions that our Student Learning Support Service run, and ones through the library as well. whatever you can do to help get you started, I really recommend doing. A lot of those sessions are really useful. So classes start next week. That's what we call week 1, but we're also calling that Connect Week. So at Flinders here, we have an extended orientation program. So during Connect Week, there's more opportunities for you to get to know your peers, more activations happening up in the campus and within the medical centre as well. So you can get some freebies, get some free food, but also get some merchandise and again, get things to help support your learning. The last day to enrol in topics is week 2, so the 8th of March. So keep that date in mind, because if you find that a topic that you're in early on doesn't suit you, you want to be able to unenroll from that and re-enroll into another one. So that is absolutely possible up until the 8th of March. Then the 29th of March is what we call census date. So if you stay enrolled in topics after this date, you will be charged for the topic, so you'll have to pay for it. And you'll also be kind of classed as being eligible for a grade within that topic as well. So if you find that you just full-time study isn't working, you need to drop a topic, or that particular topic, again, it's not suiting your needs and you're not all that interested in it anymore, or you don't feel that you're going to be as successful in that topic as what you would like to be, you can withdraw from that topic before census date. You won't be charged for it, and it won't be counted on your academic transcript. And then there's the last day to withdraw without failure. So that's week 9, the 10th of May. So if you can withdraw before that date, you have what we call a WN on your academic transcript. So that doesn't count towards your GPA, but you still do get charged for the topic. So that's kind of some key dates to keep in mind. For most students, you just won't even think about them, but they're really important if you do kind of start off and then life gets in the way, things happen and you start going, actually, I'm struggling a little bit and maybe I might need to look at changing the way that I'm studying or the number of topics that I'm doing. Top tips. So canvas.flinders.edu has a whole heap of good tips and things to help you get familiar with that learning management system. Ping is a student newsletter that's put out by our student experience team. It's got a lot of important events in there and interesting bits and pieces. There's some social media things. I don't know what to call them. I'm showing my age here, aren't I? So Instagram, that's that simple, isn't it? And Facebook, Ask Flinders. So definitely follow those, because what they will do is show you when there's free things happening around the university. If they've got dogs on campus, they share that as well. I think that's important. And you can move to wherever the dogs are, or free food, or just anything that's happening around the uni that you know might suit you. Join the Flinders Uni Student Association. So FUSA, again, they have a lot of different events and support services as well. Don't be afraid to ask for help. That is absolutely one of the best top tips you can have throughout your time at university. We are here to help you and we want to help you, but sometimes we might not know that you need help. So do feel free to contact me or your topic coordinators. You'll have likely topic representatives in your topic, so other students that you can contact, or any number of support services around the university, and we will all try and do our best to help you in whatever way that we possibly can. And then we've also got this support site as well, which I'll talk about a little bit more later. All right, that's all the admin. Now we're actually going to talk about medical science, which is hopefully why you're here. If you're studying law, you're in the wrong place. So today we're going to talk about medical science and all of the different degrees and things that entails. So I actually just published this morning, but there is a medical science course flow page. And so this is what the flow icon looks like when you go into Okta. Click on that and then you'll see your dashboard with a number of different topics on there. But you should also see this medical sciences general information site. And here's where there's not much available just yet, but it's where we'll share a lot of important information about the course. And we'll post announcements about events that might be occurring that are relevant for the course, or bits of information that might be important for you to know as you're making your way through. So sometimes a careers hub advisor will send us jobs that are available for studying students or recent graduates and all of those sorts of things. And so they might be useful for you to look at. But you can also see we do have some course news here. We've got careers and employability, information about the peer mentoring program. There'll be information about placements if you're a VMS student and you want to do a research placement, or there's information about laboratory medicine placements on there as well. So most of that is still hidden, but we'll make it available hopefully by the end of this week with a lot more information, so you can have a look through that. Now, in terms of our medical science leadership team, as I said before, I'm the course coordinator, so I can help you if you do have any queries with your enrollments, or like, you know, you're just not sure if what topics to take or what you're interested in, all of those sorts of things. I can help you with that topic selection. If you're having personal or academic difficulties and you need somebody to talk to, I can help with that as well. Information about access plans and elite athlete plans, things like that. But the rest of our leadership team include Associate Professor Voula Gaganis, who is here. She's our laboratory medicine coordinator and has, until the start of this year, been the course coordinator for medical science as well. I've just recently taken over. So Voula is also a wealth of information about the course, but is your key contact really for laboratory medicine students. Our Year 2 advisor is Benoit and our Year 3 advisor is Chris. So the idea between a Year 2 and Year 3 advisor is really that they can advise you on Year 2 specific topics, Year 3 specific topics, but really you can ask any of us questions about anything. So if you find one of the other staff members more approachable than me, or me more approachable than them, again, you can pick and choose who you would feel more comfortable speaking to. But essentially, as I said before, we are here to help you, so please do contact us if you need help. Now, if you do have specific questions about your topic, then your first point of contact for that would really be your topic coordinator. So if you want to ask about assignment extension requests, or you do have an access plan, which I'll talk about later what they actually are if you're not sure, I recommend submitting that to your topic coordinator. It doesn't really have any personal information on there, but it allows them to see that you are eligible for extension requests or eligible to miss certain classes and things if you need to. The topic coordinator will be the one that will be able to tell you about workshops and tutorials and have the relevant documents around that, and assessments and all of those sorts of things. So topic coordinator for any questions about your topic. If you're not getting any responses from them, then hopefully you'll have a topic representative within your topic that you can talk to, or you might like to nominate as a topic rep yourself. So it's a good leadership opportunity for students. But the idea by having topic reps is that, again, you've got another point of contact rather than the topic coordinator. You can share feedback, you can share concerns or queries with your topic rep, and they can then pass them on to the topic coordinator and hopefully have them addressed. Now, you might be asking yourself, what am I doing here? Hopefully not just today, right now, but in terms of within this degree. Now, many of you might realise that medical science is a very broad degree. It's got a number of different pathways that it can take you, and even what we call a medical scientist can look very different. So there are different types of medical scientists. We do have our research-based scientists. We do have our diagnostic pathology medical scientists who work in places like ClinPath and SA pathology and things like that. But we do have a really wide variety of different graduate destinations, and we've got different medical science programs. So this is just a bit of an idea of where some of our students might go and what they might do after they finish their Bachelor of Medical Science. So some will go directly into work. So we certainly have students that will go into working in kind of either industry or in research laboratories as lab technicians or research assistants, but they might work in clinical trials, sales and management, pharmaceuticals, biotech. We've got cardiac physiologists or sleep technicians. People will move directly into work environments if that's what they want to do. Others will move into other areas of study. And if you are kind of in medical science and you hear about laboratory medicine and that sparks your interest, you can actually transfer from medical science into laboratory medicine and vice versa. So you can transfer from laboratory medicine back into medical science if you need to as well. Sometimes there are some GPA requirements to enable you to do that. But our laboratory medicine students will go and work in those diagnostic pathology labs, as I said. So they'll be running the COVID tests and blood tests and urine analysis and all of those sorts of things. And also do have some slight research opportunities as well. A lot of our students will go on to do some future study. So many of our students, we're well aware, will come into this degree as a pathway to medicine. We do have a quota of BMS students that will be eligible for medicine. So it does give you, I guess, a little bit of an advantage to get into medicine here at Flinders. But then we do have students moving into honours and a PhD. So again, they've got a research pathway. We've got students that will do a Master of Nutrition and Dietetics. Master of Speech Pathology, Master of Audiology, and I've just been in discussions with course coordinators for the Master of Occupational Therapy, a Master of Physiotherapy, and we're creating some pathways into those programs as well. So loads of different pathways heading from this degree. Now, what I want you to do is go to Mentimeter, or you can just scan the QR code. And we're going to do a little bit of a quiz, or not a quiz so much, but I'm going to just ask you a couple of questions just to see where you're going, and then we'll come back to the presentation. Now, minimize, let me bring this across. So I'm going to bring Mentimeter across so everybody can see it, but you can still see the menti.com and the code on this site. So you can see here, go away, exit full screen. Join at menti.com, use the code 61124418. I knew we should have passed out the goodie bags at the start, then you wouldn't be hungry. Did everybody skip breakfast on your way in this morning? So you'll see that those words that have the most responses kind of become the biggest. So it's good to see excited really big, completely normal to see nervous quite big as well. I fully understand that feeling of being quite nervous as you start this new pathway, this new degree, and you know what might take you, a journey that might take you 3 years within medical science, 4 years within laboratory medicine, or longer if you choose to go part-time. But might also start off many, many years of study as you move through into medicine and places like that. And is this a cow? I didn't realise you could do that, but I'm very impressed. But it's good to see so many, what I would say, kind of positive words up here that you're all feeling, hopefully, not too stressed out about it all. And you know, if you are feeling kind of confused, not prepared, stressed, you know, all of those sorts of things, hopefully throughout today, some of the information we share will help those feelings kind of calm down a little bit. But hopefully even meeting your mentor and talking about some of their experiences with them. And as we move through the first few weeks of the semester, those feelings will start decreasing a bit. If they don't, and you find by week 3 you're still feeling super stressed and super nervous about everything, again, organise a time to meet with me and we can talk it through and see, you know, what might need to change to enable you to start feeling a little bit more comfortable within this space. But glad to see that there's a fair few positives here. Scared to make friends is another one that's very normal. What I would recommend for that is definitely go to your mentoring sessions. I know quite a few students here of our second who were in first year last year met their kind of friendship group by going through with going to their mentor sessions, go to classes, sit with people, talk. You might have to be a bit vulnerable, but the more that you kind of talk to others, you'll start finding people that share similar interests than you. Again, you've all come into medical science for probably various reasons, but often it means that you're generally all caring, you want to move into a profession where you help people. So it's likely that you're going to find people who you get along with and do have similar things, you know, similar interests and things. So hopefully you will be able to find some friends as you move through. And the student society is a great thing to join as well, because they're going to run some social sessions. Again, it gives you that opportunity to meet people. And I fully understand that that's quite stressful. As a student, I try to avoid everything like that. And that made it really hard. It wasn't until I joined a netball team that I actually started meeting people, and luckily a few of those people were in my course, and it really helped me settle into uni and feel a lot more confident and comfortable with it. All right, next questions. What are you hoping to do after your degree? So there's a few kind of preset options, and then there's an I don't know or an other. Looks like you can't put a cow on this one. So these kind of numbers are fairly usual for what we see. So as I said before, quite a few students come in here wanting to do medicine. Some of those students will change their mind as they move through, and it'll end up coming out with a different pathway. Others, the degree will really cement for them that medicine is what they want to do, and that's what they'll work towards applying for afterwards. Medical research, excellent. Highly recommend you look at things like summer scholarships and placement topics so that you can get into a lab and start working early with some of the researchers around Flinders or around our college in particular. Our new health and medical research building, which you possibly have seen over near the train station, is due to open in the next month or so. So that means we're going to have a lot of really high quality researchers in a really high quality space, and that should hopefully give more opportunities in that research space as well. And again, we've got some laboratory medicine students wanting to go into diagnostic pathology, and then people heading in all sorts of directions. And it's completely okay if you don't know as well. This is a really broad degree. You're going to get a load of different skills that will actually make you employable in a huge number of areas. So the idea is that being quite broad will actually allow you to be a really high quality graduate that can actually move into wherever you want to go. All right, now we're going to move back to the orientation presentation. And where are we? I'll just move this away. And I'll come back and ask you some more questions shortly. All right, so these are some of our graduate destinations. We had a student do a bit of a project a couple of years ago. A new student's actually come in and done a newer project, that's good words. And so we'll be able to actually update this shortly, but essentially this is highlighting some of those different destinations that our medical science students go to. And the brighter the yellow means that that's where more of those students have gone to. So we certainly have a lot of students going to research and become research assistants, but then some of them will also move up towards the research scientist level. We've got some graduates going to sales and management, pathology, so they become medical scientists, laboratory medical scientists. Certainly have a lot going to medicine and become medical officers and medical practitioners, and then a range of different specialisations beyond that. A number go into general practice, so become GPs, and then we've got a lot that move into clinical facing pathways, and some of these require extra study, some of them don't. So a cardiac scientist, cardiac physiologist, sleep technician, you can step straight into. The rest of those you would require extra study. But again, I wasn't lying when I said it's broad. People go in a number of different directions. These are our different degrees, which were listed at the start. But again, medical science is growing and growing, and we've got a number of different degrees. And again, there's quite a bit of flexibility moving between the different degrees. So if you're in one and another actually spikes your interest, then talk to us about transferring across or what it's about so that you can get some more information. You'll see on this website here, the Study Medical Science website, that we actually talk about some of these different specific pathways that we've got here. These ones that move into kind of allied health, we call our clinical facing masters, and then postgraduate study options include the Doctor of Medicine, Master of Biotech and things like that, but also then moving into honours and a PhD project if you want to one day run your own lab. Now, study plans. They all will have slightly different study plans between all of these different degrees. But, and I'll show you that shortly, they all actually start off with the same first semester. So all of you will have the same first semester, but then you'll probably start moving into a number of different pathways beyond that. So you can actually go to this study plans website and see a number of the different study plans. You can see what your study plan actually looks like, and that can help you visualize it just so that it makes it a lot easier to know what you need to enroll into. But we'll also make those available on our course flow site as well. So if you're just in the Bachelor of Medical Science, that's a 3-year project, you can choose a major. So we have 3 majors. You can choose one of those majors, or you can do a flexible study plan, which is no major. I'll talk about that shortly. We've got our BMS Honours which is your 3-year BMS plus a 1-year honours project. Again, you can pick majors or you can be flexible. There's a BMS Accelerated, which is a 2.5-year program, so you do extra topics to finish a little bit more quickly. You can actually do majors there too, I just don't have it. We've got our laboratory medicine program, which is 4 years, with the 4th year essentially being a full year of placement in diagnostic pathology labs. And I think most of our students who have just finished placement all have jobs as a result of that, which Paula will talk about shortly as well. We do have a regional placement program through LabMed, and then we've got our associate degree through LabMed, which is only 2 years. So, as I said, all medical science programs have the first semester, so possibly you've already enrolled in topics, but most of you will do skills for medical scientists this semester, molecular basis of life, how your body works. I coordinate this topic, so you've possibly already seen an announcement from me. And either general chemistry if you've not done year 12 chemistry, or chemistry 1A if you have done year 12 chemistry. And then in second semester, we've got histology, the building blocks of the human body, which is kind of an extension of how your body works, but starts moving down to the cellular level. And then we've got how your cells work as well. And then you've got the opportunity for an option topic. If you've done year 12 chemistry and you do Chem 1A up in semester 1, then it gives you the opportunity to do an extra option topic. Actually, I wanted this first. So in terms of the chemistry, it's just really important to note, if you've not done year 12 chemistry, then definitely enroll in general chem. Don't try and jump straight into Chem 1A, because the course coordinator or topic coordinator for those chemistry programs said quite a number of students last year, not just from our course, but a number of other courses around the university, went to Chem 1A after not having done year 12 chemistry. And those students really struggled with that. They weren't successful because they didn't have the background knowledge. So the idea is that general chemistry will give you that background knowledge to really prepare you for Chem 1A. If you've got any questions about that, you can ask Sue Pike, who's the topic coordinator for those chemistry topics, and she's actually also going to come down and share some pizza with us later as well. So you can ask her in person too if you've got any chemistry questions, and I'll kind of point her out when we're down there. Now, this is what a study plan might look like for our Bachelor of Medical Science program. So this is highlighting the core topics, and then potentially where you might take some major topics if you pick a major, or where you might have option topics available. So handbook is essentially where you'll find your course rule, and you can click on that. It'll show you what your core topics are for each year, and it'll give you an option list that shows you what some of those options are too. And it'll point out what these different majors are. So we've got a human immunology and infectious diseases major, human physiology, neuroscience and anatomy major, and a molecular medicine major. So I'll just talk you through them. So human immunology and infectious diseases, you can see you've got some virology topics, genetics topics, immunology, infectious diseases topics, and biochemistry of human disease, and these other topics here. So those topics are all included within that major. And then we've got human physiology, neuroscience and anatomy. So again, you're going to have some extra neuroscience topics, some extra physiology topics, and heading into some anatomy topics as well. So body systems and human musculoskeletal anatomy are our anatomy topics. And then we've got molecular medicine. Now, molecular medicine, you can either choose a genetics kind of pathway or a pharmacology pathway, which you can see here gives you this flexible course. So you can do introduction to genetics or principles of pharmacology, and then you would do advanced human genetics if you've done the intro, and then medicine's bench to bedside if you were interested in pharmacology. Now, you don't have to do a major. So don't feel as if you have to do one, and you don't have to pick one in first year. You can start thinking about what you want to do and then select that as you move into second year. The reason we restructured the degree to introduce majors is that some students really wanted more of a defined pathway. They didn't like that it was so flexible, and some students had a real interest in these key areas, and so wanted to make sure they were maximising the number of topics in those areas that they could do. So that was our reasoning for creating these majors. They won't necessarily make you more employable or make you more suited to moving on to another pathway, but it will make sure that you've met all the prereqs for some third year topics that you might be really keen on, or it makes sure that you are kind of, as I said, definitely doing the topics within that interest area that you might have. So don't feel as if you have to do a major. If you want to do bits and pieces of everything, you are still going to be a highly qualified graduate, highly prepared for anything that you end up taking on after your studies. Now, our accelerated program, as I said, that's a quicker degree. You can finish that a little bit more quickly. So the first semester is still only 4 topics, same sort of 4 topics as what our straight medical science does. And then students ramp up and do 5 topics per semester after that. So the idea is after this first semester, if you kind of go, yep, I did 4 topics, I was comfortable with that, I think I'll be able to do 5, then you move through into second semester. If you go, actually 4 was a lot and I don't want to have to do 5 next semester, that is completely fine. We can transfer you through to the Bachelor of Medical Science program. So don't feel as if you're stuck in that if you're finding 5 becomes a little bit too overwhelming. And some of these option topics here you can actually do during, or not, this one's not an option, it's a core topic. You can actually do that over a summer period as well. So sometimes you can choose, instead of doing 5, to do 4 and take one of those topics over summer. And as I said, these slides will become available, so don't feel as if you need to write everything down. You'll be able to see these study plans pointed out for you. Now, this is our study plan honours program. So again, very similar to Bachelor of Medical Science. You can take any of those majors, but then you're encouraged to do a placement in 3rd year. You can actually do that in semester 1 or semester 2, and then your 4th year is in the honours program. Now, that's all our medical science. I'll let Vula shortly talk about laboratory medicine, so don't feel left out. If you're doing laboratory medicine, we will come back to that. I just want to talk about some of the opportunities and career development within medical science. So we certainly have opportunities for students if they wish to do some studies overseas, and you can do that through Learning Without Borders or our study abroad programs that we have. I highly recommend that if that's something that interests you and you're thinking about it, try and get in as early as possible, because there is a bit of paperwork and a bit of approval process that needs to happen. So Flinders has partnerships with a number of different universities overseas, and if we have partnerships with those universities, then essentially you can just study over there as if you were studying at Flinders, so it makes it a lot easier. You can study at other universities, but you will have to pay those universities international student fees to go there. Often that's very prohibitive. So I recommend working with these partner institutes. But if that's something that interests you, then you can go to this website, so My Course Outbound, and that'll give you more information. And they're really a good key contact to start off with to find out about how the process works. Research opportunities. So there are loads throughout this course. If you want to, you can download the placement honours and project booklet. That also gives you an idea of who offers summer research scholarships as well. So generally, most students will do a summer research scholarship between 2nd and 3rd year. If that interests them, there's a little bit of money that you get paid throughout that time, but it's a great way of getting a taste of a lab and seeing what research is like. Or even if there's a lecturer who you really liked and you kind of just want to work with them a little bit more, then you can do a summer research project, often with those researchers as well. We've got our 3rd year professional placement topic. So that's where you do a full semester within a lab, and that actually takes up 2 topics. So it's what we call a 9-unit topic rather than a 4.5-unit topic, because you end up spending probably about 2 days a week within that lab performing a research project, basically. And then obviously we've got honours opportunities and PhD opportunities. So I highly recommend, if you're interested in research, checking out the Health and Medical Research Institute. So we call it FMRI, Flinders Health and Medical Research Institute. That'll talk you through some of the different research that happens within the university. And as I said, this project booklet will help highlight different projects that supervisors have on at the moment. Now, in terms of professional development as a student, you can, next year, you might get the opportunity to do some facilitating within Med Skills 1. This year you're taking Med Skills 1, but then in future years, sometimes you might be able to go back and facilitate, which is a paid role. So that's often worthwhile looking out for, but it also gives you extra leadership skills, mentoring skills, things like that. You can become a peer mentor. So certainly I recommend you take part in the mentor program as a mentee this year, but next year you might choose to pay that forward and become a mentor yourself. You can do the Horizon Award, which actually gives you points and becomes kind of almost a certification to say that you've developed a set of skills throughout your studies that, again, can just help you become more employable and really give you a bit of an advantage if you're going for jobs, or give you opportunities that you can talk about if you're being interviewed for future pathways as well. There are career opportunities, which I'll post to that BMS Flow page. There are leadership opportunities, so either being a topic rep or coming into the Medical Science Student Society. And we also have these employability roadmaps, which include a lot of these different things. But if you go to this website, again, I'm going to make this available online, so you'll be able to just click on the links. It'll give you a medical science guide and a medical science laboratory medicine guide to help kind of point out what you might be doing in year 1, year 2, year 3 to help make you more employable at the end. Career opportunities, as I've already said, we'll post them to the Flow page, but we also have a career hub that's actually got a medical sciences career page as part of that. And our advisor for our college, Meg Alexander, is amazing. She will share a lot of information on there and constantly be looking for opportunities for students. So I really recommend you get onto the career hub and have a look at that page. And even it talks about how you can connect with certain people on things like LinkedIn to, again, start getting your name out there, which makes it easier once you do start applying for jobs. And again, there'll be jobs on there that you can do while you study that might be relevant for medical science, or graduate opportunities to start thinking about for when you finish. Now, we also have prizes within medical science. So there's a number of different prizes. Some of these are relatively new because we wanted to move away just from rewarding people for academic excellence. Even though that's important, we certainly want you all to do well academically. But we also have a research prize for research excellence. So if that gets awarded to the student who's essentially had the highest score in the placement topic, we've got a prize for social accountability, and we've got a prize for inclusion, university inclusion and support. So essentially, if you are the sort of person that's running programs that help the community outside of university, you can also get an award for that. And you might have to nominate yourself or ask a peer to nominate you, but it's about recognising that success comes in a number of different ways, and we want to make sure that you're rewarded for that, not just necessarily because you've got the highest score in something. All right, now I'm going to pass over very quickly to Kelly and Tess, maybe, to talk briefly about the student admin team and what their role is in terms of enrolment and course advice. Do you want this one, or do you want?
Try not to yell into it. Get it there. Hi everyone. How are you? Before I begin, my name is Kelly. This is Tess. We're your enrolment and course advisors in the College of Medicine and Public Health. We look after everybody in the college. So all students across all courses, assisting them with any of their enrolment and course advice queries. So when you come to us, please bear in mind that it is not just this room, but it is a myriad of other students that are also coming through online and through the door to ask us questions. But before I go further, I know Helen mentioned before that there are dogs around the campus, and can I just say you have to make sure you pat them. If you do get into the medical centre and you see some of the volunteers roaming around with their dogs, pat them. But we were coming here this morning and we've heard rumours that there's a pony. And there is a pony. We saw the pony and I have a witness, because most people would think that I'm a bit crazy if I said I saw a pony. The woman with the blue hair is a bit nuts, but I have a witness. And the pony was dressed in pink and had little love hearts on its hind, and it was this big. So if you see the pony, that's my highlight for the day. And coming here. That wasn't believable. So our team comprises of a whole range of subject matter experts. We have timetabling experts, enrolment experts. We work very closely with our topic and course coordinators when we're providing our advice. You would have seen earlier when you were checking in, we had the lovely Amanda and Alicia here that were assisting you as you came through the door, gave you a sticker with your special little number on it that I don't know what that's about yet, but we'll find out. And you might see them when we go down for pizza, because a lot of you are hungry, that we saw from the little quiz before. So we'll be going for that soon. I'm going to make sure we don't forget anything as we run through these. I've only got 3 slides, so I'm not here for long. We are very passionate about what we do. We want to do what's best for you. So the more information you can provide us when you're putting your initial inquiry in, the better our service can be to you, and we will think outside the square on your behalf. The College of Medicine and Public Health is actually located in Flinders Medical Centre. We're right outside the Gus Frankel Medical Library. You should see someone sitting at that desk most days of the week. We're there from Monday to Friday, 9 till 5, but we have a lovely little doorbell. So if you ring that, we'll come out and assist you. And we have a whole bunch of ways to communicate. So you can ring. We will do our best to answer your calls when you call. The first question you'll probably get asked is, did you submit an Ask Flinders request? Because if we double up on the Ask Flinders request, it makes the queue very long, and potentially your query will get pushed to the back of the queue and you just keep asking another one. So stick to the one query and use that as your reference point. There's no harm in sending through an Ask Flinders request and then following that up. You can actually reply to the email you'll get that will confirm your Ask Flinders request. There'll be a reference number on there and we'll be able to track that for you. It's also a way for you to have everything you need in writing as well. I covered a lot of this. So your student ID is key. Your FAN, great. But we prefer the student ID. If you can let us know what you're studying, because if you are transitioning between the courses, it's nice for us to understand whether your question is about lab medicine, BMS, the advanced course. So that will fast track us answering any questions that you might have. Your personal details, that's key. As you move through your course, make sure you keep the student system updated. If you change your address, update your phone number, any of your situations change, that's where it'll feed through to all the different platforms we have across the whole university. And if you've got any questions at all, they don't have to be about course advice. We can direct you if you're not sure where to go. So please ask. I tell my 10-year-old this in preparation for when she comes to uni. So make sure you ask questions. There is no silly question. There is no inconvenient question. There are just questions. And if you ask them, we will do our best to help you. And I think that is everything from us today. Short and sweet.
Good morning, everyone. I'm hoping you can hear me through this microphone okay. Welcome to uni, to Flinders Uni, and welcome also to the students who have joined us online as well. Also welcome to our mentors who are sitting here and our Student Society and also our support staff. Thanks everyone for supporting this event today. So my name's Vula Gaganis and I'm the advisor for laboratory medicine, and I guess you'll see me around a little bit because I've got a number of other roles around the college. One of those roles is teaching program director for medical biosciences generally. So you might see me in that capacity, but more so you'll see me in first year in MMed 1005, and you'll see me in 1007, and you'll also see me in MMed 2931. So I'm just rattling off a lot of codes that you'll get to know as your time goes on here at Flinders. So that was an incredible welcome to the medical science course, and mine will continue on, but talking very specifically about this specialisation. And it is a specialisation by what the university considers that as a course, because it's got a really specific focus and very specific graduate outcomes. So welcome to those students. My plan today is to introduce you to, I guess, what that study plan looks like and what you can expect, but also to incorporate the associate degree in medical science laboratory medicine, which is a nested program, and I'll explain what that means in a moment. So medical science laboratory medicine has its own course rule. A course rule, I guess that might be some new terminology that you're getting to know, but that's what you've signed up for, okay? That's what you have come into and entered. So your course rule is basically the rules for your program. And for laboratory medicine, it is coursework for the first 3 years, and then it's a work integrated learning placement, which Helen introduced earlier, that it's nearly 1,000 hours of placement in a diagnostic laboratory, which is probably one of the best experiences that you'll have. So you're really fortunate to be part of the Flinders Lab Med program because it gives you that edge. And in terms of our graduates have been highly employable, not just because the medical science program actually delivers some of the best graduates that will actually ever come out of a medical science program. And I don't say that with just my own subjective bias. I hear this from industry representatives. I hear this from employers that our students are the best. But with our laboratory medicine program, you have double the amount of placement opportunity, which means you can actually, I'll save myself the excitement and I'll wait till I get to that slide. I'm quite passionate about this program. So 3 years of coursework with a final year of lab placement, and you will be, at the end of this program, what we call laboratory medical scientists. All right, so it is different to a research scientist, so someone who will graduate with the medical science honours qualification, which we pretty much go into a research lab after that. Now, the last point there is very important. It's an accredited program, and it is accredited by the peak regulatory body here in Australia. So this program, while you may realise it is pretty new for Flinders, we introduced it. We've already graduated about 15 students from the program. Because of some transfers that were enabled through medical science. But we are also now accredited, which means that our program is recognised by that peak regulatory body and you are benchmarked. So once you graduate, you will come out as an accredited laboratory scientist, okay, a passport to get into those jobs as MES, medical scientists. So the websites are there for AIMS, the Australian Institute of Medical and Clinical Scientists. So you can have a look, for the students who are laboratory medicine students, start to have a look through and get to know the peak body that governs what we're going to teach you and also what the accreditation is that you'll graduate with. And that's actually something that you'll get once you finish the program here at Flinders. So what to expect in the first, second and third years is being together with the other medical science students. So you will be, I guess we like to foster relationship building and making sure that our students are working together, getting to know others. I guess we feel that it is something that helps growth and helps develop networking and friendships. So you will share a lot of topics with the medical science accelerated students, with the honours students, with the associate degree students, and you will have a very common, I guess, first semester, first year even. So you'll have a fairly solid biomedical science underpinning that will have very obvious laboratory medicine incorporations as you go through. For example, in first year, in your Skills for Medical Scientists 1 topic, we now have lab tours to diagnostic pathology labs. So that's prioritised for the laboratory medicine students. However, if you're in MedSci and you think, maybe I just want to go and have a look to see what this is all about, what do diagnostic labs look like, there'll be an opportunity for you to go along and have tours as well. So just so that we can make sure that all of the pathway and opportunities are visible to you and you know what they look like, and you can imagine what it might be like if you graduated as a laboratory medical scientist. So the topics as you move from first year to third year, they're sequenced and scaffolded, so they get harder. So first year's foundation, second year is intermediate, and then third year is often your advanced level topics. Our program is accredited in advanced microbiology, advanced genetics or genomic pathology, and also advanced immunology. So you'll be coming out as a graduate with those advanced qualifications. Now, new to this year are regional scholarships. It might be a little bit soon for you to be thinking about it, but I guess you can have it in the back of your mind that one of the things that you can do, having a 2-semester placement opportunity in year 4, is you could do 1 metropolitan placement, so 13 weeks in a metro lab, and then another one in a region. And if you are keen to do that, we do have a very good relationship with SA Pathology, and that relationship means that they're offering 2 scholarships to students. And if you're lucky enough to win one of those, it'll be $2,500 to support your living expenses in the region, plus pending graduation and some conditions on that finishing, you will then have a 1-year employment contract with SA Pathology as a medical scientist, which is really great. So if you are thinking about a regional placement, I'd love to chat with you about that a little bit further. So I won't spend too much time on this because it's detailed and it's something that you can find on Handbook, but this is what the laboratory medicine study plan looks like. You'll notice that there's a lot of yellow, which means that they're core, so it's very fixed. And with laboratory medicine, what the accrediting body actually really wants us to make sure that we do is that we develop graduates who are very strong in all of what they call the professional pathology disciplines. So it's chemical pathology, it's genomic pathology, it's a whole lot of pathologies that this study plan will take you through from introductory, advanced, and to advanced, so that you can be ready for whichever placement you want to choose. There are 2 white boxes, and those white boxes are options. And options means that you can choose from a predetermined list. And I've got those option topics listed there for you in year 1 and year 3. And we've decided that those topics are complementary to LabMed. So, for example, biostats is important. Thinking about organisational behaviour. So if you're a medical laboratory scientist, then you'll need to manage people in your laboratory, and a number of others that we found to be complementary to that program. So moving on to year 4, which I guess is the gem of the course and what most people want to know about, it's year 4 placement. And we offer that as professional practice in medical science 1 and 2, and you can take it in a number of different forms depending on whether you want to go part-time or full-time. So we recommend full-time so that you can really get as much experience as possible in the lab. And those full-time placements end up meaning that you will nearly complete 1,000 hours of placement in that program. And that gives you the edge over any other graduate in the state. As a laboratory medical scientist, we have double the amount of hours of diagnostic pathology experience, and you'll get to experience that at your choice. We'll organise it all for you through our work integrated learning team, whether it's in a public lab, a private lab, whether it's in the Northern Territory, or whether it's in one of the regions. So that's completely up to you. So just a bit of, I guess, extra information there. The way that we work in laboratory medicine and indeed in all of medical science is that we really do like to get to know our students. We want to know you by name. We want to know, if there are any hurdles in your way, and how we can help to overcome those hurdles so that it doesn't get in the way of your academic aspirations. So what that's led us to develop is, for laboratory medicine in particular, we found that students really want to have opportunities to finish their placement in non-semester, so over Christmas or in the summer holidays, and we've developed availabilities for that pretty new in non-semester, and we've just had 2 students complete their program over the summer break, and they'll be graduating this year. So that's why you can see topic availabilities there, semester 1, semester 2, and this is a non-semester opportunity there for placement. The pathology disciplines are incredibly broad, and before, I'm a research scientist by background, before I actually got to know laboratory medicine, I hadn't realised that there were so many. I won't read them all. These slides will become available, as Helen mentioned, on the medical science flow page, the course site, which is available to all the year levels, and you'll have access throughout your entire time here. So all of the pathology disciplines are available for you to choose from. Haematology and transfusion science, I guess, is a favourite, and a lot of students love to do that. Our transfusion science topic, and I'll just give that a plug, is also available for our medical science students to take, and it's run by an international expert, and we're very lucky to have David Roxby taking that for us. Just a small plug there for our haematology topic. So huge amount of pathology disciplines, and we are very lucky that we've got excellent relationships with industry, and you can choose from any one of these sites to do your placement. We run it on a preference system, so you preference which ones you want to go to, and because we obviously need to share these labs with other students from other universities that take the placements, we will aim to get you into one of your top 3 preferences. The regional area is always looking for students. They are obviously wanting to boost the regional workforce for laboratory medical scientists. So if you are keen, it is very well supported. Flinders University will actually pay for your accommodation while you're there doing your placement, and it is something that it is worth looking at because the regions are just beautiful. We've had a number of students go to our Murray Bridge Lab. We've had a student go to Wallaroo, student go out to Berry, to Victor Harbour. So those sites are getting our students out there. Now, with the university paying for accommodation, the only proviso, I guess, is that it's 50 kilometres from your primary home address. So if you're keen, we've got plenty of years to talk about that and make sure that you're ready for it. If you want to have a little bit more of a peek through, LinkedIn is something that you can start to perhaps even get a profile if you haven't already got one. You can pop your employment as medical science student at Flinders and start to connect with us, connect with Helen, connect with me, connect with the staff that you start to meet, connect with each other, connect with the students that you'll meet in higher year levels. This is a picture there of Jacinta, who's one of our laboratory medicine graduates, and she has just gotten work as a medical scientist MES level, which is what you want as a graduate, and she's working at ClinPath currently. But our SA pathology students have been involved in recording some posts on LinkedIn, and I won't play them now, but in your own time you might want to go through and have a look and see what it really means to be a laboratory medical scientist. Might be a bit of a mystery at this point. And this is another student story, which maybe take the time to have a read through. This is Hannah, and Hannah's also one of our graduates, and she's had an excellent placement experience that she talks about here in transfusion science. So I encourage you to have a read through when you have time. Helen mentioned we also help with career mapping, so not just medical science as a broad degree, but also laboratory medicine, and you can start to chip away at increasing your employability from today. So having a look at these employment roadmaps, it tells you what you can do at year one level. You may not think it's much, but there is actually quite a bit you can do year 2, year 3 as you move along. So there's one there for Lab Med. And we also have some information for the associate degree. So welcome to the students who are enrolled in the associate program. I'll just explain very briefly what that is. So it is a 2-year program that is designed to nest into the bachelor program. So if you're in the 2-year program and you feel like that's what you want to finish at, you can do that. It's 2 years, there's no placement, and it's designed to develop graduates who can work as technical officers. So you can imagine all of the different SA pathology, ClinPath and Australian Clinical Labs laboratories, they have the medical scientists, but they have so many other different staff in there as well. The technical officers support the medical scientists, and this degree will help you get out into the workforce as a technical officer if that's what you choose to do. However, if you're in the degree and you think you like study and you like being with us and we're pretty good company, then you might want to stick around and move on to the 4-year program, and you can do that seamlessly. We will credit the first 2-year associate program to your bachelor program, and then you'll only have 2 more years of coursework and then your placement straight after that, which will be 1 more year of coursework and 1 year of placement, and you'll graduate as an accredited laboratory medical scientist. There is a progression rule for that, but we are wonderfully supported by our team in the college, and they can help you understand all those rules and understand how you can do that if you choose to go down that pathway. So the students in the associate degree will almost mirror what the bachelor degree students will do, except they will finish and exit at year 2. And then we've got a link there that if you did want to continue on to the Lab Med Bachelor, then you can also do that pending that progression requirement. This is what the study plan looks like, and we won't spend any time on this because in fact it's almost, not exactly, a replica of the bachelor study plan. One of the key exceptions is that it does have haematology and transfusion science as part of the 2-year program, despite that being a year 3 topic. That's because industry says that they want their technical officers to be proficient in that discipline. So we made sure that that's in the study plan. For medical science, laboratory medicine, you're welcome to purchase some of this clothing if you choose to. So as a medical science student, Lab Med years 1 to 3, or if you're in the associate degree, you can wear a polo top that actually has our Flinders University logo and also medical science laboratory medicine. It's completely optional. You don't need to purchase that polo, but they are available if you kind of like it and you don't want to have to choose what to wear every day to uni. However, when you do get into placement in year 4, it is a requirement because you'll be in a professional environment that you do wear a uniform to identify you as a Flinders University laboratory medicine student. And when you're in that environment, you'll notice other students will have their UniSA logo or RMIT or wherever they're from, because you'll be together in a laboratory situation. And it's a shirt and either a vest or a jacket with whatever, I guess, jeans or pants you'd like to wear underneath. And there's a link up here at Corporate Image that you can have a further look at. Lastly, because it is an overwhelming amount of information that you're receiving from all of us here today, in our attempt to welcome you and to prepare you and to give you as much information as we can to make you feel supported to begin, we appreciate that you might have questions that aren't going to happen, that may not occur to you today, that they may come to you throughout the course of the year. So Helen and I will attempt to catch up with students once a month, and we will have some coffee. It won't be anything too fancy, unfortunately. It'll be an urn with some, probably Nescafe Gold, and some tea, possibly some some milk, plant milks as well, potentially. I think I have some oat milk. And importantly, it's an opportunity for you to see us, because you'll see your topic coordinators often, but your course coordinators or your course representatives, it's not often that you'll see us unless you ask to have a meeting with us. So we're reaching out from day one to say, if you want to come and speak to us, even if it's just to say hi or to see some other people in an environment that there are no expectations of you, that's our attempt at having that informal setting. And it could be to solve a problem, or it could be just, to say hi, how things going, what's been happening, and to have that connection with you. We're going to put some more information on the flow page as we move through orientation and we get going in the semester. So keep an eye out for that, or you can ask either one of us. So I think I'd like to now hand over to Helen so she can continue with the presentation there. Thank you.
All right, so we are kind of starting to get closer to time, and I'm sure everybody, those of you who are very hungry an hour ago, are now probably famished. So I'm going to very quickly talk about some support, and then we'll get Melissa up, and then we'll have the Student Society talk as well. I do need to talk about the mentoring program quickly. What I will say is, in terms of the clothing for BMS students, if any of you are interested in getting polo shirts as well, we can look to have BMS polos, so without the laboratory medicine on there, produced. I think we did have that as an option, but just nobody was interested, so it's kind of fallen away. But if we do get a group of students who would like to have some of that kind of badge clothing, then we can certainly look at that. The other thing I'll say is, you will notice that quite a few of those promotional materials and on the websites, there are photos of us, and the students that you see there are real students. We did have to do a photo shoot one day, and it was a horrific experience, and I hope to never have to do that again. So just please excuse our faces around in a lot of different places. So student support, there is loads of support at Flinders, and please, I've said it before, but if you need help, please feel free to ask for it. Ask as many questions as you need to get the answers that you need. But if you're looking for some of the different support services, then essentially just students.flinders.edu.au support is your key place, because that's going to then have all of these different headings that will lead you to different areas that you might need support. And Flinders does this very well. Our website sometimes loses some of this information. It doesn't lose it, it's just hard to find it at times. But the idea is that you should be able to come here and click on these sites to really find out and nut down on the different particular pieces of information that you need help with. So we do have health counselling and disability services, so you can see a doctor or a nurse for free. You need to make an appointment, obviously, but you can do that and that's at the health centre, which is essentially just up past this building a little bit up there. You'll see it on the map quite easily, but if you walk up to the main hub, it's kind of just to the right-hand side. We do have counsellors. Again, that's a free service. Flinders is working really hard to try and make sure that we have enough counsellors so that there's not a very long wait time for students to see a counsellor if they need to. There's disability advisors. So if you have a chronic health condition, a mental health condition, a diagnosed disability, and need some kind of extra accommodations within your study to allow you to be successful, speak with a disability advisor and they might be able to set you up with what we call an access plan. And an access plan essentially just says that this student requires these accommodations to be successful within their study. So your access plan won't list your disability or your health condition or your mental health condition. It'll just say you have a condition that warrants you needing either extra time on some of your assessments, or it might mean that you miss some classes occasionally, all of those sorts of things. But I highly recommend that that you speak to somebody at the Disability Advisor Service to help talk through what you might need, because that just makes it a lot easier. It means that you're not having to explain yourself to everybody. You can just hand that to your topic coordinator. They will say, excellent, I'll help work with you on this. They won't ask you any prying questions. You're free to share if you want to details, but you don't have to. But it just enables you to get the accommodations that you need to help you be successful without continuously having to explain it to everybody or show doctor certificates all the times and things like that. And you can also access self-help resources through health counselling and disability as well. So definitely check them out. There's loads of different things. There's also an after-hours crisis support line. So if you're really in a moment of crisis, then you can contact that phone number for immediate help. Student Learning Support Service provides one-to-one study support online or in person. Again, you can go to the website there and it's got loads of different study tips and guides or different things that you can do either to make an appointment or, again, part of that self-help. The thing that I'll say with both counselling and the Student Learning Support Service is they are not just there for when you're struggling. They are there to help you maximise your success. So if you're getting credit kind of grades, but you want to get distinctions or high distinctions, then seeing the Learning Support Service can help you do that. It's not just for if you're failing. So don't see it as a service that's only there for if you're not passing. They are there to help you be as successful as you possibly can and do as well as you possibly can. So certainly, as I said before, check out what they're running during O Week, because they've got a lot of different programs that can really set you up for success at uni and just help familiarise you with all of the different programs that they run. They've got a flow site as well, so you can self-enroll into the flow site, click on this, and then you can see they've got loads of different workshops and study guides actually sitting within that learning management system. Oasis is a student wellbeing centre. It provides a lot of holistic kind of support to your wellbeing, and the idea about Oasis is really maintaining good wellbeing, good mental health, rather than kind of having to help when you are at that crisis kind of point. So they really support physical, emotional, social and spiritual needs of students. You can see some of the different things that Oasis run. So they do yoga, they do forest walks, meditation, conversation groups. They've got a community market, so they will advertise that either through the Oasis online kind of sites, but also through some of those Flinders social media platforms as well. So they'll advertise when they've got free or cheap food, and you can go in and purchase good quality food for not very much. International Student Services is highly useful if you're an international student. I highly recommend you get in contact with them. They should have gotten in contact with you anyway, but they run a lot of different programs, again, to specifically support international students. They can talk with you about a number of different issues that might face just purely international students in terms of if you're concerned about visas and all of those sorts of things. But they also run social activities. They can help you engage you as volunteers, again, to improve your employability and connect you with different support services. Other services around the place, there's student success and wellbeing advisors, which I'll introduce one of them shortly. There's prayer rooms, conversation groups, equal opportunities advisors, Pride Network, Good Vibes Experiment. So loads of different things to support, you know, what we know is a very diverse cohort of students. I don't actually have it on there. I thought I'd added it. We also do have a Flinders neurodivergent student group, which you'll find on a Flinders group. I'll add it to these slides so that you've got the information available, unless it is in an upcoming slide. I can't quite remember. So that's for students who either do have a diagnosed disability, such as autism, or disability never seems right, or ADHD, or even if you're self-diagnosed, but if you identify as neurodivergent, and then that student group is really beneficial for checking in with. They are a really great network of supportive friends, essentially, supporting students with any queries and issues that they might have as they move through. There is a common room in the medical centre. The mentors might, if we get time to do it, take you for a bit of a tour through the medical centre and kind of pointing out some key locations. I just realised I don't think I added the library to that list, so add the library, everybody. But there's a common room that does have microwaves and things like that. There's couches. So it's room 4E109, and this is the access code 9014. I haven't tested that this year, but it hasn't changed for the past few years, so I assume that that is still relevant. Again, I'll put these notes up online so you've got that. Wellbeing and support, again, loads of different health and wellbeing resources, health and wellbeing programs, and there's an excellent blog by one of the psychologists at Flinders, Gareth, who just essentially you can sign up to it. You get like a weekly email about wellbeing advice and tips and tricks that becomes highly tailored and relevant to the various times of year that you might be in. So he'll help you, he'll write some information around helping manage stress and time management and things like that as you start moving through the heavier assessment kind of times within the semester. As Paula said, we've got our monthly coffee and tea mornings. It will be tea or coffee that looks more like this rather than anything impressive, but you know, it'll be free, and we might try and have some Vickies or something occasionally as well. All right, now I will introduce one of our student success and wellbeing advisors, Melissa Suckley, up to talk to you about her role and how she can support you in your studies as well. You sat in the worst spot.
Hey everyone, how you going? Can you all hear me? Yeah. Hello to everyone who's online as well. Yeah, my name's Mel. The mentors and the returning students wouldn't have seen me because we're a relatively new service at the uni. So I've been here as a success and wellbeing advisor since June last year. So we've been rolling out our service progressively for just over 6 months now. So my role here is really to help you link in with what it is that you need. So there's 2 of us at the moment. There will be 3 in about a month. One of Indy bailed on us, so we're recruiting at the moment. And so what we can do, sometimes life happens, and we know that you don't come to uni every day and study independently of everything else that's going on in your life. You might have rent to pay, you might have people to look after, you might have disabilities or health conditions to navigate, you might have work to do, you might lose your job, your car might break down, you know, all this stuff happens, and it doesn't mean that you can necessarily continue to focus on your academics. So if that stuff happens, and I don't wish any of it on you, and you're feeling a bit overwhelmed and you're not really sure where to start and you need some help with really anything to do with your course, then you can come and have a chat with me. I would say that your topic coordinators, they want to hear from you. They want you to talk to them. So they might seem really scary in the first few weeks. They're not actually scary. They're people like the rest of us. So do talk to your topic coordinators. But if you don't feel like you can do that, you can come and have a chat with me and say, look, Mel, all this stuff is going on. I don't know where to start. There's also a whole lot of stuff at the uni. There are rules, there are processes, there's red tape that you don't need to know about right now. But when something maybe starts to go a little bit wrong, you might need to know about that stuff. And so I can help you with that. One I will mention right now is if you do stay enrolled beyond the census date, which Helen referred to earlier, and you do fail a topic, which I don't wish that on any of you either, there is a process called remission where you can get your fees refunded and you can get basically that topic taken off your transcript. It gets converted to a WN, a withdraw no fail, doesn't impact your GPA. So for those of you wanting to go into med, you'll appreciate that. That is a process. So if you're impacted by compassionate or medical circumstances on or after the census date, which means that you couldn't withdraw pre-census date, you can actually apply to get your money back. So I do want you to remember that, because a lot of students, they're not told that at the beginning and then they find out, because there is a time limit on when you can do that. There are other things you can ask about, which is remarks, grade appeals, things like that. So all those sorts of processes that you don't need to worry about right now, you can come and chat to me about. The other thing we want to help you is, especially for those of you who might be wanting to go on to further study, or maybe you come into this degree and you're not really sure what it looks like, you're not really sure what your future looks like. If you want some help breaking it down and going, okay, well, what are the goals that I want to achieve this year or in the next 3 years or in the next 5 years, we can sit with you and help you put that together, especially for those of you thinking about going into medicine. I know that GPA is going to be a really pressing matter on your brains. And so if you're getting credits and you're not really understanding why, come and have a chat with me. Maybe it's going to the Student Learning Support Service. Maybe it's just simply being a little bit more organised. Maybe it's reading things twice rather than once, things like that we can help you with as well. And then finally, as I said, navigating the university system. This is a really big place. There are lots of procedures, lots of processes, lots of really boring stuff that at some point you might need to know it. So if you're not sure, come and ask us. I was in a session yesterday over at Science and Engineering, and Ingo was saying, you're going to hear a lot of people say, ask for help, ask for help. I just want to remind you that you may have been, if you've come straight out of high school, you may have been told that uni is where you have to be a grown-up and you have to do it all on your own, and that is definitely not the case. Everybody here wants you to succeed, and when I say succeed and when I think about success, that's not my definition of success. I want you to define your success on your terms. So for someone who's neurodivergent, success might be getting up out of bed and getting to class 3 days in a row, and that might be success for them. For others, it might be getting high distinctions for all of your topics. So for you, if you need some help working out what success looks like for you, what your path forward looks like, we can help you with that. One last thing, you're going to spend a lot of time in the hospital. Don't forget there's a whole big campus that way. Do become familiar with the hub and the library. One of the things that will help you feel that you belong here is to actually find places where you feel comfortable. So walk around the campus, get to know it, find places, find your favourite coffee place, find places where you like to sit out in the nature and get some sun, find places where you like to study quietly, find places where you like to study with your friends. Introduce yourself to people. These are the things that are going to make you feel like you belong here, and you do belong here because you got those marks and you got that offer and you accepted it and you're here. But to actually feel a part of this community, participate, walk around, get to know the place. If you see me around and you have any questions, don't hesitate to stop me and ask. Any questions? Excellent.
Thank you, Melissa. And yeah, as Melissa said, these are relatively new roles. So we're really happy to have Melissa on board and part of our college or supporting our college. But also, again, it just really highlights to me the work that's been done around the university to really support student success. And as Melissa said, success can look very different for a number of different students. So it is really important to see what's out there, reach out if you want more of an idea. Now, I'm very quickly going to talk about the peer mentoring program, and then we're going to hand over to Kirsty and Kristen, and we do this to them every year, cut it right fine, but that's all right. I think the pizza wasn't going to get here until about 12:15 anyway, so we're good, we're all fine. So I'll get you to go back to Mentimeter again. Hopefully that's the right code. And I'm going to ask you a couple of questions around that might help highlight, I guess, why we think mentoring is beneficial to students. So the first one is, have you been to university before? Sorry, that's disappeared. If you haven't got it, it's menti.com and use this code. All right, so we can see that the vast majority of people in this room have not been to university before. A few people have done foundation studies or extension studies, so might have had a little taster of uni, and a few you might have done already a previous year, a previous degree, you might have done a number of different things, but most people have not been to university before. All right, next question. Do you know anybody else starting this degree? So again, there's some people that know others, which is really lucky. Well, I did my degree with nobody that I knew from my school. So half of you are kind of starting with people that you know and half are starting with people that you don't know. So what you can see is that there's a lot of people who have never been to university before and a lot of people that don't know anybody else starting this degree. And I think that's important to know because some students come and think, oh, everybody else seems to know everybody else seems to know everything about university. I'm the only one that doesn't know anything and doesn't know anybody. And that's just completely not true. So you can see a lot of people don't know anybody else, have never been here before, and possibly if you're feeling a bit lost, they will be too. So that's one of the reasons why we have this peer mentoring program, is to help support you so that you no longer feel that way and get to know people and are supported that little bit more beyond the academic support that we can offer or this university services support as well. So the last question here is, do you feel that you know everything about uni already and won't have any problems? I laugh, but I don't mean to laugh at people saying help. Please come and speak to me. All right, so you can see some people feel slightly confident. Most people feel okay. Some people are feeling very lost and some people need help. Again, speak to me. Occasionally we'll have somebody say, I know everything and it won't have any problems, and I try and get them to raise their hand so that everybody can go to them for help, because I feel like most people at some point will feel a little bit worried about what's going on and perhaps won't really know what's happening. I think that's the end here, so I might just move this and take it back over here. But what I hope you can see is that, like, if you're feeling a bit lost, if you're feeling like you don't know anybody, you're not alone. And what the idea behind a peer mentoring program is that it's supposed to provide support to you, assist in your transition to this kind of learning environment. If you've not been in a tertiary learning environment before, or even if you have, assist you in that transition to medical science and what learning in this degree might look like, provide knowledge on support services, understanding of policies, all of these different things. But more importantly, also help build your self-confidence and your social network. So your mentor group might become a friendship group, and it might then become a group of people that you spend the rest of your degree with. Now, the reason why mentors are able to provide that support is that most of them either more recently have been first year students, or so a lot of them are actually second year students this year. So were first years last year and sat through this whole thing then. Apologies, you're having to do it again. And so some of them have moved on and are perhaps third years. We do have one mentor who's currently in MD1, so she's first year medicine, but she finished a full Bachelor of Medical Science degree. So they understand what it was like to be you right here, right now, and how you feel, but then what it's like to move through and navigate those systems and be able to move on and hopefully up as you're moving through. So they know it because they were first year students once, just like you all are. So it's an opt-out program. You hopefully will have all been emailed already with your mentor details. I didn't actually put location and time there this time, because what I want you to do is within your mentor groups kind of discuss times that might suit you. If the time that suits your mentor and the rest of the group doesn't suit you, you can change across to other mentor groups. So don't feel as if you're going to be prohibited from taking part in the program. You can move along. Now, I've placed students into groups based on your home address. I once worded that by saying I've placed you by looking at where you live, and that sounds creepy. It was a spreadsheet. I've gathered you by postcodes, or tried to. So I have kept the lab med students together, the BMS honours students together, and the accelerated students together. The medical science students, I've tried to group you based on postcode. And the reason I've done that is because then if you want to find groups of people that you want to carpool with into uni, or have a public transport buddy, or meet up outside of university for study groups and things, then it's more likely you'll all be in a similar location. So you don't necessarily have to come into uni to do that. So essentially, how do you get involved? meet your mentor today, have a chat with them. There are a few mentors that couldn't make it, but you can I'll get you to join in with some other mentors, and your mentor will contact you, attend the meetings. So they'll be weekly before the mid-semester break and then fortnightly after that. And again, as I said, you can change mentor groups if you wish to. So our mentors this year, as I said, a bunch of excellent students who have previously done this degree, or at least done it 1 year of the degree. So we've got Alice, who's here, you can wave. AJ, who's not here, apologies. Aria, who's here, wave as well. Claire, who will be down in the lunchtime session. Grace, they're waving very shyly. Hakarat, who is also not here today. Lily, who's not here. She wanted to share a photo from the Fumes, so the Student Society pub crawl. So this is her here. And Grace, is that you as well? Yeah. Paul, who's here, Philippe, who's here as well, Shannon, and Sophie as well. So we've got most of the mentors here today, which you'll sit with essentially, and that is why I probably should have explained this at the start. You're not ranked. That number isn't ranking you into a certain place. That number is actually your mentoring group. And so what you'll find is that as we get down to the lunchtime room, the mentors will grab a stand, it'll have a number on it, so go sit with them. And sometimes you might need to spread across a couple of tables, but the idea is you'll sit in your mentoring groups so that you can start to get to know them and each other. Now, making the most of orientation. Oh, I forgot about all these slides. Finding your way at Flinders. This is a site, you'll be logged into it, very beneficial. O Week, lots going on, check it out. Quiz nights, all sorts of fun things, fair days, free lunches. There's FMC welcome hubs. So Tuesday today until the Thursday, the 22nd, just outside the library, there'll be a welcome hub. So you get some freebies and stuff there, but can also talk about different Flinders specific things that you might have questions about. Connect Week, that's the week 1 next week. Again, lots of different events. We have our Survival Skills in Medical Science event. I'll put this up on the Flow site so that you're getting information about it. The idea is that this will probably hopefully take place of your first mentor session, but it's also a good opportunity where you can, again, learn some more tips and tricks about being successful within medical science. We do have a mature age student morning tea as well. So if you're a mature age student who wants to meet other mature age students within the college, again, recognising that mature age students will have specific challenges perhaps that other students might not have. And so again, you might want to build some networks there, then you can attend mature age student morning tea. Again, I'll share this on the Flow site. And then we've got FUSA pop-up activations around the place as well. Now, finally, sorry, Kirsty and Kristen, I will pass on to you. And then I promise this is the end after Kirsty and Kristen finish, and then we'll move down and have some pizza. So nearly done.
Hey guys, how are we feeling? Okay. Yeah, all right. Cool.
Same.
Yeah. Well, hi. I hope you're enjoying orientation. I know it's a lot. It's very overwhelming, but hopefully this isn't too mentally taxing for you. Okay. So, welcome to the Medical Science family. We're here to talk to you about the Flinders University Medical Science Society, also known as FUMES.
Here at FUMES, we strive to make your journey through medical science as enjoyable as possible. We do this by closely liaising with a lot of the academic staff to organise events and present you with a whole bunch of opportunities to help you integrate into uni life a little bit better. So we refer to all of us in this room and then the relevant people outside this room as the medical science family. Here's why.
So as you explained to, earlier, there are 5 different degrees within medical science. They've all been explained. Let's get a quick show of hands. Who's in just straight medical science? Okay, so fair few of you. Any honours students in here? Okay, cool. Accelerated pathway? Cool, okay. Lab bed? Okay. No, not accelerated. Associate lab med? Okay. Oh, very, very nice. All right, before we get too deep in this presentation, I reckon it would be a good idea if we introduce ourselves and the rest of the committee. So, hi, I'm Kirsty. This year, I'm the president of Fumes for 2024. This isn't my first Fumes rodeo. I've been a part of Fumes for a while, since my first year. And since I'm entering my third year of medical science, this is also my third year on the Fumes committee. If you ever need someone to convince you to buy something you don't need, or if you're in the mood for a quality, deep and meaningful chat, I'm your girl. Oh, I also know a thing or two about the degree, so you can ask me about that too.
G'day everyone. I'm Kristen. I'm the Vice President for Fumes in 2024, and this is my second year within the committee and my third year in medical science. So if you want to know anything about cutting up placentas for research or ice baths, just look for the bloke in the Lightning McQueen Crocs in the FMC. So I asked Kirsty to wear them today, but she didn't let. She wouldn't have any of it.
Absolutely not. As you can see, we have a decent sized team who are all available to help you throughout your degree. Hopefully, you've also noticed that the first year rep position has not been filled. This is because we strongly encourage one of you guys to fill that position. We really want a first year rep to fill that position because it really gives you like a deeper understanding of how the degree works, and it also gives you a chance to be on the Fumes team as well with us. To apply for this position, just reach out to us on one of our social media pages, which you can see in the bottom right in the light blue box. We'll also give you a QR code in a couple slides' time.
Here at Fumes, we pride ourselves on hosting a variety of events. These promote networking within our entire medical science cohort. They include our social night, a couple of events involving academic staff at the end of the academic staff for getting your study plan and careers sorted, my personal highlight, the pub crawl, and then ending the year on a high at our medical science ball. We're also planning introducing a couple new events this year to this itinerary. The first is a quiz/movie night, which happens somewhere around on the 14th of March. And the second is a nature walk/trek. So we haven't yet set like times and venues for this in stone yet, but keep an eye out on our socials for further information regarding this.
So, why should you join Fumes? Well, a relatively inexpensive membership costs a one-time payment of only $15.
Last time I checked, that's cheaper than a Zinger box.
Yeah. And this entitles you to discounted prices for all merch and event tickets throughout your medical science journey at Flinders. So you only have to pay it once. It's a lifetime situation, all that.
We also post a variety of content on our socials, from reminders and other important information about events, job opportunities within the realm of medical science for both graduate and undergraduate positions.
Survival tips.
And we also have survival tips on how to thrive at uni and any other opportunities within the College of Medicine and Public Health. So we are an important link between the students and the academic staff who structure all your topics and your degree as a whole. So any constructive feedback is appreciated and it will be relayed higher up as well.
All right, so I mentioned that we organise medical science merch. Do you want to see the options? Yeah? Okay. So this is it. You'll see that a decent member's price does apply. So once again, highly recommend that you buy a membership to save the big bucks. Alrighty, get your phones out. Scan them. Off you go. We'll give you a sec. My phone's gonna start buzzing. Just wait.
Just fall off the table.
It will.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh.
I'll watch it.
Oh. His watch is going off. All right. I'll quickly move on, but it'll also be on the end slides.
Yeah, I know this can be a bit overwhelming. I remember sitting in these seats a couple of years ago and I had no clue. Still don't have a clue sometimes.
That's a bit of a worry.
But don't worry. We have a O-Week stall tomorrow at the Student Hub, and a lot of our very friendly committee will be there who'd love to answer any questions. It could be about study, our society, any of the admin stuff, or just uni life in general. Yeah, we've been through it all and we'd love to help you out. So.
We will also be answering questions about first year rep applications, which again, I highly recommend you all look into. I was a first year rep back in the day. Well, wasn't that long ago. Anyway, and it was genuinely one of the best decisions I've ever made for so many reasons. We'll also have a merch sizing booth. So we've got like size samples. So if you want to figure out what size you are, come see us tomorrow. We'll be there from 10 to 3. Yeah, we'll be around.
So I'm sure, as you know, or you'll definitely get to know very soon, Flinders is absolutely massive. So Kirsty and I actually recorded some videos for you to
Last week.
Yeah, very last minute. Just to sort of show you around the different campuses and stuff, the main routes that you take, just to make sure you get to your classes on time and stuff like that. So yeah,
Yeah.
don't mind my walk. I just walk weird. So. Sorry about the inaudible. You can barely hear me. I just had to edit out a lot of it because you could hear Kirsty panting the whole time because those stairs are no joke, man.
From the hub to the FMC. Thank you so much for your time. Again, the QR's back up just in case you missed it earlier. We'll see you tomorrow at our O-Week stall. Yeah.
And yeah, I'm sure you've heard us heaps, but feel free to ask us questions. I know Kirsty can look a bit scary, but she's not too bad. So yeah, feel free to have a chat to us. So.
Also, we have a confession. He said hungry on the Mentimeter. I said very hungry. So we didn't want to make you guys look bad, but it was us.
Thank you both so much. And we really do value the relationship that we've got with Fumes and really notice that those students who do engage with Fumes and do form those networks, it just creates a more positive experience, not only for them, but for everybody around them as well. So now, what I was saying before, you've got a number on your name tag that's going to correspond to your mentor group. What's going to happen is we're going to walk through that tunnel that Kristen and Kirsty just showed us down to the level 4 seminar area, and your mentors will grab one of these stands. They're actually in a box as you walk through piano shelves. They're in a box there that corresponds to their number, and they'll sit at a table. And so what I want you to do is sit with them. If you haven't signed in, then come and see me now, and then you'll be able to find who your mentor group is. If you haven't been assigned a mentor group, I downloaded the list, not probably a bit too far away, so you might not have actually been enrolled yet, but I can assign you to that now. But thanks very much for joining us for all of that. Hopefully now you'll come down, have some lunch with us, and as we get down there, we've got some goodie bags for you as well. So follow Vula with the goodie bags, and we'll have more of them down at the level 4 seminar area as well.